Jeff Regan, who presided over the House of Commons as Speaker for the past 4 years, is looking to reprise his role in the new session of Parliament. The Halifax Liberal MP plans to let his name stand among those who want to be the referee in what's likely to be a fractious Commons following last month's bruising election campaign that returned Justin Trudeau's Liberals with a minority government. The new session is to start on December 5th, and the first order of business will be for MPs to elect a new Speaker. There are thought to be at least 3 others who will leave their names in the running. Bruce Stanton, a Conservative MP who served as Deputy Speaker in the last session. Anthony Rota, a Liberal MP from Northern Ontario who served in the last session as Assistant Deputy Speaker. And Carol Hughes, a New Democrat MP representing Algoma, Manitoula and Kapuskasing, who also served as Assistant Deputy Speaker. Conservative leader Andrew Scheer and Saskatchewan Premier Scott Moe's back-to-back meetings with Prime Minister Justin Trudeau yesterday yielded few results in the search for national unity after a divisive federal election. Moe said that he arrived in Ottawa in good faith to hear how Trudeau plans to make good on a promise he made on election night, that he would address the frustrations of voters in Alberta and Saskatchewan who didn't elect a single Liberal MP between them on October 21st. Moe showed up armed with demands: a 1-year pause on the federal carbon tax in Saskatchewan, a reworked equalization formula, and more overseas oil markets opened by completing pipelines beyond the Trans Mountain project. But he received commitments on none of them. Moe said it's time for his province to find another path forward. Moe said Saskatchewan will continue its core challenge to the federal carbon tax and increase outreach to global trading partners. Scheer, meanwhile, said common ground exists between him and Trudeau on items both promised during the election, including making maternal and parental benefits tax-free and funding public transit in Toronto. The introduction of a tax cut will be the Liberals' first order of business. Scheer said he'll wait to see whether that agreement is reflected in the throne speech. A Commons vote to approve the speech as a general plan for governing is considered a measure of confidence. With a minority government, the opposition parties could easily trigger an election by voting to reject it. A double lung transplant recipient in Michigan has been identified as a 17-year-old boy whose organs were severely damaged by vaping.
Working closely and noting that his lungs were not going to recover, working with the lung transplant team, we worked to get him on the lung transplant list within a week, and on October 15th, he had successful bilateral lung transplant. The patient is recovering well. It takes months to fully recover from bilateral lung transplant. Within 2 weeks, he was off the ventilator and starting to work with our physical therapy team, starting to walk again and slowly regaining his strength.
There was a study released last week that surveyed over 10,000 middle school and high school students, and 28% of high school students reported ongoing use of e-cigarettes, and 11% of middle school students reported using e-cigarettes. Of course, the favorite was flavored variety. So I believe we are just beginning to see the tip of the iceberg.
Police increased security around Hong Kong and its university campuses today as they braced for more violence after sharp clashes overnight with anti-government protesters. Many subway and rail stations were closed after the protesters blocked commutes and vandalized trains. Classes were suspended at universities, and parents of school students advised they could keep their children home. Police and protesters battled on multiple fronts overnight at the Chinese University of Hong Kong. The university's student union president, Jackie So, appealed for an injunction with the High Court to ban police from entering the campus without a warrant or the school's approval. Police had entered the campus and fired tear gas and used a water cannon late yesterday. The injunction would also block police from using crowd control weapons such as tear gas and rubber bullets at the university. A decision is expected on that later today. The Sioux Greyhounds announced last evening that goaltender Christian Propp, one of two overage players on the roster, had been dealt to the Kingston Frontenacs, along with a 13th round draft pick in 2023. In return, the Greyhounds acquired overage goaltender Bailey Birkin, who had been claimed off waivers yesterday by the Frontenacs. Greyhounds general manager Kyle Raftis said last night that he's hoping the deal will give his team a goaltending shot in the arm.